Okay, now this is a hemlock, and the reason I had Tam zoom in on this bark, you can definitely see that this is different from cedar. Remember, the cedar bark strips off of there into long patches, and you can use that to roll in your hand. You can use it for all sorts of combustible material to start fires with. This is not the same, but it has the scalular leaves. In fact, it very much looks like a juniper or cedar.
It does that very much.
Except that it's much more spread out.
Okay.
And these trees can grow up to 50, 60, 70 foot tall. They're a great canopy tree. You can make a shelter under these. You're going to be protected from the element. But interesting, people have asked us, hemlock is also usable for wild edible tea. So you can make the pine tea out of the hemlock. You can see if you get close here, and I'll see if I can get this. It just showed up in the shadow. Can you see that scales on the branch here, Tam? Okay. So each branch has little scales on it like that. And those scales, again, are typical of the hemlock.
Now, Dave, you hear so much about hemlock being able to make a poison out of hemlock. So is that something that the listeners need to be wary of, or is that a wives' tale? What is that?
Yeah, that's actually a misrepresentation. This is hemlock the tree. There are two plants called poisonous hemlock, and if we can see some of those while we're up here, we'll try and stop and identify those. If we can't find them, then you want to look them up on the internet, but typically they are bushes, plants.
As opposed to a tree.
As opposed to a tree. And they grow up about our height, 6, 7, 8 foot tall. They have red mottled stems, purple reddish stems, and they're mottled. And if you were to break that plant in half, it stinks terribly.
Well, now a good rule that you've talked about before is anything that's mottled in the forest, you stay away from anyway.
Anything that's red, anything that's mottled. This comes out with an umbel, which is like an umbrella, and there's 8, 10, 12 shoots off of each umbel. Unlike the carrot, which is a edible look-alike, which has a single umbel with a blue flower in the tip. So hopefully we'll be able to find those as we go through here again. If not, look them up. Now, some of you may know this plant. It has alternate leaves, okay? And if you touch this, it's thorny. This is called greenbrier. This is a very, very small one, but greenbriers grow very large, up to my thumb around, and those rootstocks are edible as well.
Now, David, there's a place up here actually called Greenbrier that we might want to take a trip to with just to show our listeners, and that's, I mean, it's up there huge, so we can show them that.
Great, and you again can use that as a flower substitute, the rootstock. So you would strip that down and use it like a flower. All right, well, we were up in the mountains. We had a great time, didn't we, Garth?
We did.
Had a real good time. And we're back at the cabin. This is gorgeous around here. And there were a few extra trees that we wanted to show you here. The first that you could see that Tam was on is the sumac. Now, you've heard of sumac, Garth?
Absolutely. It kills people.
Yeah, there's poison sumac. And then there's also this, which is an edible sumac. It's called staghorn sumac. And what we're going to do is move over and show you one of these berry pods that you can actually make something called sumac lemonade.
Ooh.
Which is an extra great drink. So we'll be right back with you to show normally these are going to be a bright red, and they get the name because they have little fuzz on them like a deer's antler, the staghorn sumac. And you can take these. Now, these are still usable. When they dry out, they are usable, but they're not as easy to use. Each one of these little berries you would just pull off of here, and you could put that into hot water and make a lemonade, basically like a lemonade tasting. And I'm going to let you, Garth, try one of those and just see what you think, if you can taste that lemonade flavor in there. Now, if he keels over, folks, we'll know this was poison sumac.
Well, I can feel it hydrating, of course, because it is dried. A little tangy, a little bit of a tangy, almost a citrus flavor.
And so you put those berries in, and then you put it through a handkerchief.
And they hydrate really nicely too. They actually come right back. You don't get the red color, but you can see how they plumped right up with a little bit of liquid from my mouth.
Okay, the next tree that we have here is one that looks, a lot of people mistake this for either maple or sycamore, but it typically has a flattish top on it with two lobes, and this is called tulip poplar. This is in the poplar family, and it's one of the best for making fireboards, for making bow drill materials. Really, really good tree to use for that. I don't know if you can get the picture back here in the back, but if Tam can get a closer up of that, you can see the poison ivy climbing up this tree. Poison ivy is notable because of the hairs on the stem. Okay, you don't have to see the leaves, you just don't want to mess with that. And that goes right up the tree, and I'm sure there's lots of leaves of 3 on the top of it. You want to stay away from the poison ivy, but the tree itself is a great tree to use, as I said, for bow drills, hand drills. Very, very useful. The last tree we want to show you today is...
Can I say it?
You can.
It's the pawpaw tree.
This is the common pawpaw, and you'll notice, I mean, it's got a very distinctive leaf shape.
It's actually a very pretty leaf, isn't it?
It is. It's gorgeous.
Now let me ask you something, Dave, just completely off before you get into this. Is a leaf edible?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because if they were, and look, I'm really into Greek food, and you know, edible leaves are wonderful to roll up and to cook on fires and stuff. It would just be really nice if it was.
Exactly. One of the things you can do with these leaves that I know of is we gathered some pine pitch up in the mountains the other day. And if you lay your pitch into here, you can fold this leaf over.
Makes a wonderful little pouch.
And use it as a little package. So you can just fold it over, take some kind of a material, whatever, a vine, cordage that you have, and wrap it up.
Because in all honesty, we were a couple of miles back in the very deep woods, and Dave managed to carry it back out of here with no problem.
Yeah.
Fully intact.
Yeah. Now the pawpaw, one of its edible uses, and it's notorious for, are beautiful fruit. Now this one's past fruiting. It is getting on the winter time in this area, and late fall, so there aren't any more. But the fruit on a pawpaw looks like a small banana. It has some moon-shaped seeds in it. Very, very edible fruit. Great taste. So that's some of the trees that are here in this area, and we've enjoyed bringing this video to you. Hope you guys will join us. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any comments, please leave them. We appreciate your viewership. We appreciate you being with us for this video, and tune in for some more. On behalf of Bushcraft on Fire, I'm David Wendell.
And I'm Garth Holt.
And we thank you for watching this video.
And don't forget, Thursdays, 8 to 10 p.m., Bushcraft on Fire Radio.
Have a great day.
And I'll be... Oh, I'm sorry. We might want to start over. How you doing, folks? My name's Garth Holt, and I hooked up with David Wendell because I was actually doing a little series called All Things Survival, and he was doing Bushcraft on Fire. So we've kind of combined forces for the Bushcraft on Fire, actually the Bushcraft Radio Network. And I'm a former Marine, actually was a scout sniper, and I've been a police officer my entire life. And I've been into survival and teaching independence, I should say, to people like the Boy Scouts and Eagle Scouts and Police Athletic League for most of my life. So you'll be seeing me pop in every once in a while to some of these videos. So thanks for watching, folks.